We turn now to the stunning sentence tonight for a former police officer from Oklahoma City.
We call the police on the police.
Lewd exhibition and punishment is set at 5 years.
This is Daniel Holtzclaw, a former Oklahoma City police officer. At this moment, he is reacting to his sentencing of life in prison. Holtzclaw's story is one of the most chilling and wild displays of police power abuse ever. In June 2014, Holtzclaw would pull over Janny Ligens, a daycare worker who was coming back home after a shift. Holtzclaw would explain that he had seen her swerving and needed to search the car for illegal substances. However, before searching the car, he would pat Janny down. And this is when things turned dark.
I'm like, what? You want me to take my pants down? Then he was like, yes. I said, oh, no, sir. I said, you're not supposed to do that, sir.
Holtzclaw would then force Ligens to commit a sex act on him.
I definitely zipped his pants up, and he moved back, and I just got out his police car and walked towards my car thinking he was going to shoot me in the back. And he let me live to tell the story.
2 hours later, Ligens would report the assault to the police, who would launch a full-scale investigation. During the first interrogation, they would collect Holtzclaw's uniform, the same one he had been wearing during the night of the assault. This is where they would discover the shocking truth. DNA had been identified on it that linked back to then 17-year-old Adaria Gardner. With the realization that Holtzclaw is a serial predator, investigators would go back through all of his stops to identify women who may have also been assaulted. In total, 15 women would step forward saying they had been assaulted by Holtzclaw. While in court, Holtzclaw would break down when hearing the verdict passed from the judge.
Count 2, procuring lewd exhibition. Mr. Holtzclaw, this jury finds you guilty of the various counts. You will be remanded to the custody of the Oklahoma County Sheriff for formal sentencing set January 21st, 2016 at 10 o'clock a.m. The custody of the sheriff, you're excused.
There is something so unsettling seeing someone break down after committing such heinous crimes. Holtzclaw isn't the only officer who ended up facing life in prison. In this video, we will take a look at 4 more officers that shared similar fates, starting with a cop who committed murder. In April 2017, 2 cops would be called to a house after complaints of a party. The cops would show up to bust the party. However, only moments after the party was busted, gunshots could be heard in a nearby parking lot. The 2 cops would race to grab their guns and get to the lot. This is when they would find a black sedan backing out of a parking space. Officer Roy Oliver would yell at the sedan to stop, but the teens inside would not hear him. Oliver would then run at the sedan and break one of its windows. He would unleash 5 bullets into the car, striking Jordan Edwards in the back of the head, ending his life. This case would make national headlines as Oliver would be described as trigger-happy by his colleagues. In the courtroom, his half-sister would testify against him.
I sent her a message saying that I hope that justice is served in this case, and I hope that he gets what he deserves because he took an innocent life. And I feel sorry for what that he has done to this boy.
Then, when the judge passed the sentence, this was Oliver's reaction.
The jury, having found the defendant Roy Oliver guilty of murder and having made a negative finding on a special issue of sudden passion, assessed the defendant's punishment and imprisonment in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a term of 15 years and a fine of $10,000.
No emotion being displayed for his action. However, the corruption doesn't stop there, because next we will be looking at Zachary Wester's case. Wester's case is one of the most blatant displays of police power abuse ever. Wester was an officer working out of Jackson County, Florida. He had an extremely clean record and was praised for the many drug arrests he made. However, all of that would come crashing down. On July 10th, 2019, Wester would be arrested for planting drugs and arresting innocent people. When searching people at traffic stops, Wester would turn off his body camera where he would plant evidence. Then he would turn it back on after he had found the drugs. Here is Wester confronting his victims after finding the planted drugs.
Do you have anything on you, sir?
I said I didn't have anything on me in the truck.
Oh, okay, but do you have anything on your person is what
I
I'm
have
asking.
nothing on me to my knowledge at all.
All right.
And I'm not trying to be ugly.
It did return presumptive positive for methamphetamine, okay? I'm just letting you know, okay?
He goes in the passenger side. He sees, I don't know, God knows what. He goes around to the other side, truck going on open, and he comes back with a spoon, which is what I use to eat my yogurt with. And in the spoon, there is laying a little bitty, like, I guess, a little tiny bag. He says it tests positive for methamphetamine. So I guess I'm going to go to jail. And it damn sure ain't mine, and nobody's been in my truck but me.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. If I read you your rights, will you talk to me?
I talk to you, man.
Okay.
I'm just saying, man. Ain't just, dude, I'm fucking.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you.
Wester would arrest more than 30 people wrongfully, destroying their lives just because he wanted to join the narcotics unit. While in court, Teresa Odom would give a victim impact speech, which would go to show how much Wester ruined her life.
Robbed me of my credibility being a mother and a grandmother for the last 3 years. I've probably missed 1.5 years of my grandbaby's life because of this. And you'll never know what you've done to me until you have children of your own, so.
When it came time to read Wester's sentence, this was his reaction.
Mr. Alday, is this your verdict? Mr. Armstrong, is this your verdict? Mr. Dominguez, is this your verdict?
It's almost chilling to see how little remorse he shows in his face when hearing his sentencing. This is Eric Evalkin Herrera. He is currently on trial for the shooting and killing of 26-year-old Cameron Lamb. On December 3rd, 2019, Devalkin Herrera and his partner would respond to a report of a traffic incident with a red pickup truck. Devalkin Herrera would follow the pickup truck back to a house where they would confront the driver as he was backing down the driveway. However, the driver, Cameron Lamb, would not hear the officers telling him to stop. That is when Devalkin Herrera would see Lamb reach his left hand into the console. He was not taking any chances and would unload 4 bullets into the car, killing Lamb. However, this was extremely suspect because Lamb never took his hands off the steering wheel. In court, Evalkin Herrera would break down when he was called to the stand.
And do you believe that you ultimately saved his life?
Yes, I do.
When it came time for victim impact speeches, Lamb's aunt would show how much the death meant to the family. However, when Evalkin Herrera reacts to his sentence, he does exhibit signs of remorse. The killing of an innocent man is nothing compared to what the last officer did for a life sentence. This is Daniel Saylor. He was a police chief in Orange County, Florida. In 2011, he was fired from the force for a disturbing abuse of power. Soon after, he would be arrested. Saylor was suspected of using his power and connections to cover up a sexual battery offense committed by one of his friends. His friend, named Scott Bush, committed sexual battery to a 12-year-old child. Saylor would also be accused of accepting a bribe to sell photographs of Tiger Woods' car crash.
Yet Daniel Saylor was sentenced to 8 years behind bars after he was convicted of lying under oath during his friend's trial. That friend was later convicted of raping 2 young girls.
We jury find the defendant guilty as charged in the information.
Daniel Saylor dropped his head when he heard the guilty verdict.
In his closing statement, Saylor would beg for mercy from the judge.
I know what to say to you. I still believe what I said was the truth. I'm a single father with a daughter. I've served my country in the state of Florida for many years, and I find myself in this position now. I don't know what to say to Your Honors. Please have mercy on me.
Prosecutor Ryan Williams stated that he felt that the sentence was justified.
The court every day in this courtroom, we depend on people telling the truth. And if you don't tell the truth, there has to be ramifications for that.
These cops were not the only people who had crazy reactions to life sentences. Click here to watch 5 killers who showed no remorse in court.